And one day it's not going to take me 10 seconds to get off the floor whenever I sit on it. So I don't think that they realize that those little things go along the way. So what gets me past those what ifs is the anticipation of the future non-scale victories that I haven't got to enjoy probably either most of my life, or if I did enjoy them, it was so far long ago that I was a child and I don't even remember it. So I would rather be scared and nervous about what I'm doing now and being this vulnerable about it and putting it online because I thrive on accountability than being scared that in 4 months from now, when I go on my emo cruise, am I going to be able to walk around the fucking island when we port?
And welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another episode of the Unbreakable Podcast Network. That's one of those moments where I almost went to my old network. I am super excited, Alicia. We have never met before today. I just started following you on Instagram, and I think you're amazing. And so welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm flattered. I'm flattered.
Flattered. So listen, the way I found you was I was doom scrolling reels while I was hating my life doing cardio for a contest prep. And I saw you and I was like, this is a person who gets it when it comes to weight loss. And you're documenting your journey. So why don't you give our viewers and our listeners a little bit of a background about who you are and what you're kind of doing right now as you take on social media?
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm just a regular old person doing regular old things, just wanting to lose a lot of irregular fat. So I'm trying to do it in a way that feels good to me. But I've been overweight for the majority of my life, probably since middle school. Not at this weight. I probably got to my highest weight in 2018. It was after a bad breakup. Insert sad emoji. But I was convincing myself at that time. I was like, you know what? She probably broke up with me because I'm fat. So I was like, let's not be fat no more. So I went on my first little weight loss journey then. I lost almost 100 pounds. I documented that too on an Instagram that's now private. I got about maybe 1,000 followers there. So I was comfortable with using social media and like meeting people and putting my life out there just a little bit. I wasn't as vulnerable as I am now. But then COVID happened and shut down all the gyms, which was a suck fest for me because the way that I was losing my weight was not just with diet, but with a rigorous gym routine. Getting into that habit, and I'm a habitual person that needs a routine. I'm more comfortable that way. So when COVID happened, it was just a wonderful reason / excuse, whatever you want to call it, for me to just not put in that effort anymore. I tried the work from home. I tried the the workout from home, which was okay for a little while, but I'm also a person who's really extroverted in these communities, so that sucked. Fast forward to now, on July 12th is when I started trying to lose weight again, and my highest at that point was 398.1. My highest before that point was 403, but I'm counting till then because that's when I started something called Healthy Wage. There's a little app that I found that you can bet on your own weight loss. Sorry, that you can bet on your own weight loss. You can wager however much you want for 6 months. I think you've got to be kidding.
This little bug.
Sorry, a little bug flying around. Where you can pick how much you want to wager per month. So I decided to, I think, bet, I don't know, like $70 a month for 6 months. And the huge thing behind that is that I'm a very frugal person. I don't like to spend money. I didn't grow up with it. At all. My mom is very hardworking. We were all right, but now I'm comfortable, and any money that I spend, it takes me 7 to 10 business days to think about that purchase if it's over $30. Like, I just don't like doing it. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to do this, and this is going to push me into doing it because that means I get my money back if I do.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But the reason why I wanted to start it prior to that was a work trip that I took to Atlanta. I was flying to Atlanta for work, and being fat on the airplane, that just doesn't mix, especially being
Mm-mm.
fat in the airport doesn't mix either. Those things are huge, especially the Atlanta airport.
It's
The Atlanta
big
airport's is rough. Um,
and always under construction. Always under construction.
they're always doing something out there,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
That's the moment where I was like, okay, I have to do something, and that I didn't know the strategy in which I wanted to use. I knew I was all right with calorie deficits. Healthy wage came up, and I was like, okay, this is just all coming together, so I think this is what I'm going to do. As far as social media is concerned, like I said, I had experience with that before, but not the following that I have now. And I didn't even intend to put it out there. I think that's what I did. I made a video. And I was like, I'm going to look back on this. And then after I finished making the video, I watched it and I was like, this is kind of funny. I'm going to put it out there. So I posted it and it was received all right. It was received well. And I was like, okay, now I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to tell my mom, my friends, my family, my girlfriend. I'm not telling anyone, because if I failed, I didn't want anyone to know, because I had hopped on that horse and got off of it again. And then there was one video that I posted where I talk about crumbling rice in your paws, and everybody just went crazy over that. It started going viral and viral and viral. I remember being at work and I took my phone out of my pocket and I was looking at my phone on a break, and I saw that I was at like hundreds of thousands of views, and I was like, okay, I better tell my girlfriend now what I've done before she sees
And
it.
what was the subject of that video?
I can't. It was just a what I eat in a day.
Oh,
Yeah, it was just a what I eat in a day video. And I talked at the very beginning about how I hate my legs. They piss me off on a daily basis. So it's time to get skinny. I think that's how I said it. So yeah, it was just a what I eat in a day. And it just went crazy.
yeah. And how
Yeah.
have you found, so talk about your following now. Like you say, you've kind of exploded. That's how you and I found each other. Well, how I
Hmm.
found you, and I hunted you down like a dirty dog. But well, Josie did. Let's be honest. But what's your following now, and talk a little bit about the community that you're inspiring.
Sure. Yes. On TikTok, I'm at 250 something thousand followers.
Wow.
Instagram, I'm at 170 something thousand followers. And the reason why I wanted to put, like, whenever I was like, I'll post this, I wanted to post it on TikTok because I typically see people who are vulnerable on there. Their comment section is just full of nice people, especially if they're on their right algorithm, right? So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I may as well put it in a place where I think people are going to be the nicest to me. And that community is so, like, there was another creator that reached out to me. He said, you know what? I think that we should do a mean tweet video. Let's collab on that together, where we read our mean comments to the video, like on Jimmy Kimmel or someone's
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. And it took me a long time to find mean comments. That's how I'm very #blessed for this community that's behind me, because I don't even need to say anything to anyone who says anything mean. They just go in after themselves. So they're so supportive, and it's just been an extra motivator that I didn't see coming, to not just do it for myself, but now to do it for everyone that may be struggling with their own weight themselves, and they don't know if they can do it, especially because they're balling on a budget, or they don't have a lot of appliances with a lot of kitchen. Like, you see my kitchen.
Hmm.
You couldn't fit a twin size bed in there. You couldn't
Yeah.
fit a cot in there. Like, there's so many things that you can do with limited resources to still hit goals. Um, you don't have to have a super expensive gym. You don't have to have a super expensive trainer. You don't have to have super expensive ingredients. You don't have to have a huge house, and you don't have to have all these things. You can have the basic bare minimum stuff and still get it done. So that's a big motivator to keep posting, and to showcase that anybody can do it. It's not just for a specific type of people.
No, I agree. And, before we jumped on, I was telling you the story, like early on when I was 27, maybe, I went on a family vacation, and my ex-husband and I went to Niagara Falls. We took our kid, and, she was pretty little, she's like 16, 18 months old. And afterwards I got off, and I think I talked about this on a podcast 2 weeks ago. And I saw a picture of myself, and I honestly, like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I thought that black tank top was hiding everything and like you couldn't see all that fat under there. And I was like, it looks like I have a bunch of uncooked bread in my pants. And I was like, all right, so I don't want to do this. But the next thought I had was, I'm not going to be able to see my daughter graduate high school. Like I'm going to die. I'm going to be sick.
Yeah.
So that was a real motivator for me. And it's interesting because when you look at like the psychology around why people make these changes, it's actually less likely that someone will be successful if you tell them that they have the risk of dying, as opposed to you show them what they have to live for, right? And so I took it from the perspective of this is what I have to live for. So I go and I drop like 115 pounds, crash diet myself, like 1,200 calories a day, not good. But then, my ex-husband and I break up and I'm moving back down south. And then, you get into the new relationship and you get fappy, right? We all know what that is, fat happy. You get happy. And so you start eating and just being like yourself and you're having drinks on a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, these pants are a little tight. Right. And so, I'm in this little tiny town east of Calgary. And so I decide, hey, I'm going to go over to Curves. Maybe I can just get in there, do the 35-minute workout. I have like a 5-year-old, so I've got to like stay up on that. I've got a full-time job and I've got this partner and, so I walk in there and the lady says to me, she goes, so what brings you in? And I've got my hands on her little fat meter and I'm like, she's doing her little electromagnetic thing. And I said, well, I can't, I can't really afford a new wardrobe, but I'm sick and tired of picking between, camel toe and muffin top. So it's kind of like, I got to move my body a little bit more. And she was just kind of like, oh, okay. Kind of like, I don't know what to say to that. But, I had a website for years and it was nomocameltoe.com. And I would blog my journey. I would share my recipes. And literally it was just, I stopped it when it was Camel Toe before she became Moose Knuckle, the angry older sister.
Moose Knuckle.
Welcome to Canada. we have another measurement, when it comes to asses. It's like her ass is so big, it's 2 axe handles wide. So it's like how many axe handles is too many axe handles for your booty. Stickers to me.
That resonates a lot because especially whenever you're looking at your picture and you're like, oh, I can, that tank top wasn't hiding anything. I think that fat people, me definitely included, are convinced that sometimes people can't see our fat, or that it's not as fat as we perceive it to be. That's why you see people tugging on their stuff or putting like, I'm sitting on a couch, if there's a pillow, that is going right on top of my fupa.
Bingo.
Every single time. Yep. Every single time, or I do the chin thing, so we think that we're hiding it, but we're really not. We're just creating these little comforts. And then going back and looking at pictures like that, you're like, damn, what was I thinking? Thinking I was hiding this when I'm not. And it's blatantly, it's right there in front of everyone. The only person who doesn't seem to be in front of is the person who is, carrying the weight.
Well, and I think that a lot of it too comes down to, well, it's self-confidence, right? I mean, our confidence and our capability to project and be the person that we think we should be. And I think the one thing that really drew me to your content is it's you, right? Yes, you're hilarious. You are. You make light of the situation. You're a little self-depreciating at times, but it's you. You're a very authentic person. And you can tell that you're not staging it when you go to take your turkey tacks and you accidentally drop it on the countertop and you're like, nobody saw that, and you like scarf it back, right? Like, I mean, like, not that I've watched your videos or anything, Alicia, I'm just saying, but you know what? It's so real. It's so real. And it's, I think the other thing is that the world right now needs a bit of empathetic humor. And I think that that's what you're bringing to the conversation about body image, about obesity, about who we are as people, about that struggle. You're bringing empathetic humor. And so, like, is that you as a person? Like, talk a little bit about how you're showing up in these videos and in this content.
Oh, it's interesting that you talk about empathy so much because at my work, we have to use empathy. We talk about empathy in sales. I'm a sales trainer, and an assignment that we were given was in our training class. They were like, all right, talk about let's get together next week and talk about how you used empathy in your class. And we got together, and I had another trainer with me that was watching me train that week. And then the meeting came, and we were talking about empathy. And I said some kind of example. This is how I portrayed empathy in my class. And she was like, Alicia, that's not all you did. You did so much more. You did this. You said this whenever this person said that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that I was being so naturally. I am an empathetic person. I guess more than I thought that I was. People tend to see, like you said, we're our own worst critics, right? People tend to see things that you can't see. So I really like to think the best of people. Sometimes they can get you in trouble, but most of the time people just need that. And they need realism. What was the other half of your question? I think there was 2 parts.
Well, it was really just about how you as a person show up. Like, so it sounds like you're being authentic, you're being yourself. And so how do you, I guess the question I would actually add on and I think would be kind of an appropriate place to go is, how do you suspend the what if, right? So you started this and you're like, I don't want anybody to know just in case I fail, right? I think we've all been there, right? But like, you're just showing up and you're just in that space. You don't think about, oh man, what if, so-and-so saw this and I feel X, or they bring it up, or it's like my family decides to make a Christmas compilation for the family like, you know what I mean? Like, you're putting a lot of yourself out there.
It came with a harsh realization of whatever it is I'm scared of, whether it's going to be a family picture that I'm going to be fat in or whatever, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And the only person that's going to be shocked by it is going to be me, quite honestly. Today I went to a doctor's office and they follow my TikTok, and we took a picture together, and it was the first time that I took pictures with people for a long time that I was like, I'm not even scared of what this picture is going to look like, because I know what to expect and I know that I'm working on it. So the what ifs are not anything that I hang up on myself anymore. It wasn't always that way. It wasn't always that way. It was hard, right? Because for the longest time, whenever my class graduates, we take a group picture, and I typically do a selfie because I know I can do it from here up.
Yep.
I know I can do it from here up. So when you start to acknowledge where you are and where you want to go, and that this is the only person that's going to be surprised by what's in that picture is you and nobody else, because they see you all the time. I think that helps me with the what ifs, like with the picture or whatever. Or like if I get more scared of the what if I can't because I am. Like, what if I can't fit in this booth at this restaurant because I am fat? Or what if I can't do this because of my weight? So now I don't get so scared going to places anymore because I know I can fit in seats better. I think that when people they're scared to start their weight loss because they want to see instantaneous results. And they're like, I'm going to be miserable for months and maybe years until I lose all this weight. There's so many non-scale victories along the way that keep you going, and things that you don't even think of. Like one day I won't have to sit down to put my socks on. That's going to be pretty dope. And one day it's not going to take me 10 seconds to get off the floor whenever I sit on it. So I don't think that they realize that those little things go along the way. So what gets me past those what ifs is the anticipation of the future non-scale victories that I haven't got to enjoy probably either most of my life, or if I did enjoy them, it was so far long ago that I was a child and I don't even remember it. So I would rather be scared and nervous about what I'm doing now and being this vulnerable about it and putting it online because I thrive on accountability than being scared that in 4 months from now, when I go on my emo cruise, am I going to be able to walk around the island when we port?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the key, right? Is, I say it all the time on this podcast. I wake up every single day and I do this wonderful thing called whatever the I want. And that is super offensive to some people because they've followed the script that life has told them they have to follow. Right?
It doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't. And this is the experience that I choose. And so, if I want to do something and I'm not breaking the law and it's not unethical and it's not
Mm-hmm.
hurting somebody, I'm going to do what I want. Like it makes no sense for me to try and fit myself, a square peg, into a round hole because somebody said I should. Like, I mean, I've been a traveling consultant since my daughter was 7, and I had this friend, and like I was a single mom for a couple of years, and I had
Mm-hmm.
this friend who was like, I can't believe you leave her. I can't believe you never leave your kids. Like, you're this helicopter satellite parent that just your children will literally never leave home. Okay, so I have Gen Z. She's never leaving home either. Let's be realistic, but she's very independent and
Yeah.
still living under the roof, right? Like, I don't have to ask her to help out with the house. I don't have to ask her for anything. She just
Mm-hmm.
anticipates the needs, right? And so it's
Right.
like, so we also create community and we create environment around us, right? So doing this and being this autonomous person, there's this inspirational kind of part, right? Like, I fundamentally believe I cannot motivate you. I can create the conditions for motivation. I can create the space for you to feel that motivation. And then I can inspire you with what I put out there, the challenges I do, all of those different things,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So my question to you is, you've rocketed up, right? Like, we're talking July, we're not even at the out into October yet. By the time this airs, it'll be October. So what's that? July, August, September, October. Like, you're like 3 months into this journey. You're doing a great job losing weight, but you have created this community of people. And like, you just gave an example of going to the doctor's office that follows you on TikTok and taking pictures. How has that been for you? Because I will tell you, for me, it's a little bit of a struggle.
It is a struggle. I suffer. It's There was another podcaster I was talking to about a month or so ago, and I talked about this with my friends and my family, that it feels like a little bit of an imposter syndrome, kind of. 'Cause even my girlfriend will say, "Oh, you're famous now. You're famous now." I'm like, I don't like that. It's not that I don't like the being the recognized, because I've people recognize me in public, and that's nice and stuff, but it creates this, like, I don't know what's happening because it's happened so quickly,
Yeah.
and so I don't understand it. I don't think I've fully grasped it, and but I am appreciative of it. I want to be very, very clear about that. I'm appreciative of it because the community that has kind of rallied behind what I'm doing, so freaking awesome. They're supportive. They hold me accountable. Um, they come with suggestions and feedback, and I think feedback is a gift. It is the
Yes.
biggest gift that you can give to somebody, especially if it's difficult feedback to hear. And being open to feedback, you have to. But I did not expect the community to be this supportive, or for anyone to rally behind me this hard. There are some nutritionalists that rate my nutrition in their videos, and they've all been so nice before, but I've seen some people comment, they're like, I didn't even like it until you showed Alicia respect. I'm like, that's so nice.
Yeah.
that's that's so nice. So they just kind of rallied around is it's amazing. um it leaves me speechless, obviously, because I'm struggling with my words right now.
Yeah. Well, you're not controversial either, right? Like, you're not bringing politics or religion or beliefs or anything into it. You're
Yeah.
living a life and you're documenting those things and you're
Yeah.
giving people the opportunity to participate and share that with you. But there has to be an element as well where, people are looking at that going, wow, I can do this too. Like, have you had a lot of that?
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. I've had hundreds and hundreds of comments and messages, private messages, people saying that they've always been too scared to start trying to lose weight, and now they're starting. And not even just that they're starting, that some people have lost weight, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. There are people who have messaged me who are 700 pounds and up that are like, I'm doing this because of you, and that I'm not a baby, I swear, but that's moving. Shut up. Stop it. It's really touching, um, and rewarding that I can just be myself
Yeah.
and show that you can do it
Hmm.
and create. an inspiration for somebody to do something they didn't think that they could do. That's the coolest part of it.
Well,
It's
and
the coolest part.
it's life-changing, and it's in some cases when you have somebody who's 700 pounds, you know, for them walking to the mailbox is pain. You know, I mean, you put that into context. Have you ever put 700 pounds on your body and walked to the end of anything?
Fuck no. No.
Right? There is
No.
so much power in that. Like, even if it's just somebody controlling their nutrition so that they can get to the point where they can get up and they can be mobile again. I mean, and you know, for what it's worth, I mean, yeah, somebody doesn't need to be 700 pounds to be motivated or inspired.
No.
It could be someone who maybe sees you eating better and they just think, okay, well, maybe that's all I need to do different, right?
Yeah.
To regulate myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Something that's adaptable to their everyday life. Because not everybody wants to eat chicken and rice or white fish or whatever, and you don't have to eat that to lose weight. Should you eat cleaner? Should I eat cleaner? For sure, but I take this in the form of baby steps, because there have been times that I have gone all in and it failed because I restricted myself too much. I put too much on me, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm not going to. So I like having a platform that'll showcase the ability for everyone to do it and still eat food that they like and do it in a way that's fun, because it doesn't have to be miserable. It can be fun.
It shouldn't be miserable. I mean, if
No.
you know, I tried everything, right? Like, I mean, I did calorie restriction, I did Weight Watchers, I did if it fits in your macros. I do a regulated meal plan now made by a coach, but that's because I'm purpose driven in a sport now,
Totally.
which is wonderful. That doesn't mean that,
That
you
is
know,
wonderful.
you know, but that's what works for me. Like you said, it has to be sustainable in someone's life. And, you know, one of the things that happens, of course, as you come up and you see yourself looking successful. I mean, like, I'm into my 15th year of bodybuilding, and I only just started winning competitions like in 23. Like, it's a long
Good for
road,
you.
right?
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think I did 5 titles out of 3 competitions in 23, and it was just like, it was deadly. I was like, yes. I know. Yeah. But you know, it was interesting because, like, when you look back, like, there's this constant evolution. Like, science changes, like, constantly. We're learning something new all the time, right? But then as we evolve and we stay intelligently plugged into what works for us, then what happens is people notice that. And so then people come to you in your personal life. And I had a guy a couple weeks ago. So this guy is he's an E&I, so electrical and instrumentation technician, out of like the middle of like southeast Saskatchewan. You know, I'm sure you know the song from that girl who sang the song about coming back to Saskatchewan. I don't even know, but make myself look like an asshole. Josie, when we put this up, could you please put like the song up so that I don't look like such an idiot? But he's like, I don't know, like 55, and I coached him for a really long time and got him into this position. Oh, look, and she's
I saw it.
you know, yeah, thanks. So anyways, he sends me a text and he's like, "Hey boss," he's like, "Do you got a few minutes to talk?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." Like, "What's up?" And he goes, I'm just tipping the scales at about what was it? Like, he was like 289 pounds. He's 5'11", 55 years old, loves to hunt and, you know, be out on the land and stuff. And he goes, "I'm pretty sure that if I'm not careful, I'm going to be having the diabetes talk with my doctor right away here."
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't want."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, cool. Well, what can I do to help you?" Right? I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not, like, you know what I mean? I'm not a sports psychologist, but I mean, like, the work that I do creates the space for me to have really meaningful conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
But I never profess to ever be like, I can't tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing from a nutritional perspective, but what I can do is I can give you guidance and point you in the direction. And so he gave me all his little statistics, and I went on to like this macro calculator online, and I just said, like, this is the caloric intake you should have. Here's the app that I use to manage my food intake. I use an app called Chronometer. Or I'm probably putting the emphasis on the wrong syllables, but yeah. So,
That's okay.
but I sent it over to him, and he was like, so I said, "Oh, and you should get 4 liters of water, like a gallon of water a day minimum." So I get this text from him every day for like the first like week. He's texting me and he's just like, yep, so what about this and what about that? I didn't really want to eat all that the carbohydrate. I'd prefer more fat. Okay, well, whatever, man. So I do some changes to like the macros, keep them in the same calories, whatever. And then he sends me a message one day and he's like, holy, he said, 4 liters of water is a lot. Holy man, he says to me in this text. I was like, yes. First week he was down 5 pounds, and some of it's water weight, but a lot of it, he's like, you know what his non-scale victory was? The goal that he had. What? He belongs to an Anytime Fitness, and he wanted to be in the top 10 of his attendance at the Anytime Fitness.
Hell yes!
And he had it within 3 weeks.
Badass! That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like, those are the kinds of things where it's like, those are like, I'm not doing anything but creating the conditions for motivation. And when we look at that, it's purpose. Why am I doing this? It's mastery. And inside of mastery is a lot of discomfort, knowing we'll never be masters. And it's that feedback loop that you talked about. And then the last piece is autonomy, having the right level. And I think, you hit something that really sticks out to me. And why I tell you the story of this guy is that I started him very basic. Eat inside of this range. Don't worry about the breakdown of fat, carbs, proteins, whatever. Here's your calories. If you want to do that, go ahead. Drink your water, move your body. That's it. And what I have found over the years is exactly what you said. If you try and do everything all at once, you are going to burn out because you just simply can't manage that level, that degree of change. Pick one thing and do that really well for a couple of weeks and then add the next thing.
That's such a recipe for success too, because when we take on too much than we're prepared for, I think it's like whenever I first started going to the gym, I wanted to be strong. So we would do some body weights with dumbbells, and I went to go pick up, I don't know, like a 30-pounder. And even though I could lift it, I couldn't do all the reps they wanted me to do with it because I was starting too high. I was shooting too high, and I burned my arms out really bad. So I think when we don't start at that lower pace, even though you can do more, even though you have the capability, yeah, but do you have the mental fortitude to keep going with all those huge changes that you've made all at once? Because it may not be overwhelming on the first day, second day, first week, second week, but it will eventually get there and it will hit you like a Mack truck.
Absolutely. Honest to God, I started dieting in March, at the end of March, for my competition season in August and September. And I kid you not, like yesterday, I think I had a temper tantrum. Like I'm reversing out, thank God. But like I had like a temper tantrum because I had to go grocery shopping for the 4th time this week. And I had to make chicken for the 3rd time, and I had to make beef, and I had to grill steaks. And I'm like, why am I about this enormous, beautiful, lovely thing that I have? Like my privilege is next level to be able to afford to eat the foods but I was just like, I mean, you think about losing weight and preparing for a competition are not too different. It's just we're inside of the competition prep, you are like unbelievably flawless because you're on a timeline. Whereas when you're in your weight loss journey, it's not necessarily that you're not flawless, but you have a little bit more wiggle room to make mistakes or go out for a frappuccino, or you know what I mean? Like it's just it's slightly different because the intent is different, right?
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And whenever it comes to like, what do you say, like goofing up or messing up?
Yeah.
I think it's really important that we give ourselves grace in those times, because just like, I mean, take for example, like, and I know that these two are vastly different, but take an example of someone who's trying to stop drinking, and maybe they're recovered 60 days or something like that, and they just have one drink. They're going to be tempted to have more and more and more and more, and they have to say no. Just kind of like with food addictions, if you have a cheat meal, you have to know how to say no to the next 2 meals and the next week and the week after that and the week after that. So adapting that word into your vocabulary and giving yourself grace if you fuck up, because we're human and that happens, is really important too.
Well, and I think that's the beauty too, is that like when you reframe, like reframing is such a powerful mindset tool. And that's really what you're talking about, is it's going from I fucked up to, well, I guess I'm on to the next meal and I'm not going to eat more chips with that meal.
Yeah.
I'm still going to have my chicken and my rice. I'm not going to
Yeah.
restrict my rice out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and I think a lot of it comes down to the beauty standards that we in our society have put into it. I mean, like, you think, and well, and the highlight reel. That's what I like about you. You're not a highlight reel person,
Yeah.
right?
It's everywhere. It's in, when you're talking about beauty standards, it's all over social media, it's all over ads, it's in magazines, it's in newspapers, it's everywhere that you go. It's everywhere you go, and I think that we all have a subtle unconscious bias whenever it comes to that too, because it's something that's just been kind of put in the forefront of any kind of media that you can digest, that not even just skinny is good, but fat is bad.
Yeah.
Fat is bad. So we're naturally ashamed of being fat. And while that's not something that you want to stay at, especially if it's causing you a lot of, or any health problems at all, there's nothing to be ashamed of, especially if you're working towards bettering yourself. Like, just because you're not skinny, just because I don't look like you right now, doesn't mean that my value is any less.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean that I'm less important, and it doesn't mean that I'm an ugly person. It just means that I got like 300 pounds of fat on you. That's all it means. It really just breaks down to that, and it's hard for people to get out of that mindset of, oh, I'm ugly, or I'm unattractive, or I'm this, or I'm that, because social media and the dude on the fucking corner at the store told me so.
Yeah. Well, and I think social media has just exacerbated it. I mean, like, we used to have like the magazines, and we used to have the TV shows, and, Entertainment Weekly. Like, how many times you open up, your web browser and it goes to MSN or whatever they pre-program into it, and it's like, this celebrity without her makeup. I'm sorry. How is that anything? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you, I succumb to the beauty standards. Like, this blonde is not real. Listen, Alicia, I glue hair to my face every single morning so that you can see where my eyes are, because otherwise I'd just be sitting here and it'd be like looking at two piss holes in a snowbank. Thanks, Dad. But you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't even know. Oh yeah, we were talking about like these ladies with their makeup and like, just, like, and yeah, we all kind of, I think we give into it to some degree, right? Like, we all pluck the rogue chin hair, except for the librarian where I grew up. She had like, they were very long. Like, she had like 7 of them. And I was
braidable mustache hair.
Yeah, but to each their own. And I think, there's, we have this book club on the website, on the unbreakable.legacy.com website. And we had, a couple of books that we have, our faves and our friends. And our faves are other authors that we've had on the podcast and that we've created connection with. But one of my absolute favorite books is The Four Agreements. And I talk about this book like all the time. I read it every single year. My best friend, he always says, you're never the same person the second time you read a book. And it's like standing in a creek, right? Like, you're always different. And The Four Agreements, there are a couple that really stand out. This book changed my life. It changed my entire perspective in terms of, like, I'm a really empathetic and kind person too, but I can be really nasty in my own head sometimes, particularly to myself. And sometimes it was where I was not very kind about other people. And the first agreement is, be impeccable with your word to yourself and other people. And it's powerful. Like, how many times do you wake up and the internal dialogue that you have is like, you have to turn it around?
All the time. That's why I don't turn it around anymore. I just show it out. And then hopefully I can adjust it, like the self-deprecating humor you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get it.
It's
be impeccable with your words, with yourself, others, and what was the last one?
Yeah, with yourself and others. And then don't take anything personal. Right? Like, I mean, and that's the good and the bad. It's not just, it's not just saying, hey, I'm not going to, I'm going to take all of this praise and roll with it, right? I'm just going to look it up here. Because I always forget one. So that tells you how powerful it was to me. So it's, don't take anything personal. Don't make assumptions, right? Like, I'm sure your mom probably taught you that. My dad taught me that, but he made it so that it was like, I wasn't making an ass out of you and me.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah. Don't take anything personal. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. It is It's a fantastic read because what it does is it teaches you to break the programming of your early childhood, basically. Like they take us, these beautiful little beings that are full of life, and they just jam us into this system. And they say, you're going to look like everybody else. You're going to sit in this little desk and you're just going to do what you're told.
Yep.
What a existence.
Breaking free from that's nearly impossible. You know, I wonder if that's why when you're little and you move out of the house for the first time, you can do whatever the you want
Yeah,
and be
man.
whatever the you want. You still have those little internal subconscious or subtle influences that you learn throughout your life, whether that is the standard of beauty or the standard of knowledge or the standard of existence and your value. So I like those 4 little tenets. I think that's what's that?
Yeah.
Send me that book when we're done.
Yeah, I'll
I
send
don't
you
like
that
to
book.
read either. Send me that
No.
book though.
No, man. Yeah, I'm an Audible girl. I like when I publish Unbreakable, like we are going to record an audiobook, and it's if you ever actually Leslie Jones did her autobiography, and she did Leslie Jones was on Saturday Night Live.
Yes. Okay.
She's
Yeah.
fabulous. And she wrote her book, her autobiography. And when she narrated it for Audible, it was like she would read like one paragraph and then like the rest of the chapter was dead to her. She would just story tell the whole book. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow. What a nice, what a innovative avenue to go down.
Yeah.
With reading your book. You just tell them
it's fabulous. It's fabulous. So I do a lot of Audible. So I'll send you a couple of titles. And, but yeah, this book, honestly, like, I think it's like a 90-minute listen if you listen at 1.25. And it's like, you can just take the stuff away. And even if you Google it, like you can come up with like a poster. I had a client and he had the 4 agreements as his back screen on his computer. Because he was a very, angry, judgmental human being. And, you know, he wasn't always very nice with his words, which is why we were working together. So, listen, you're a dick. So here's your, sorry, you're a jerk. You know,
just subtly hinting that you need to fix your vocab, my guy.
Just fix your shit. Just fix your shit. So when you think about, okay, so let's wind this down with some wise words of wisdom other than click, share, and follow. When we think of that was a joke. It was a creator joke. I'm trying to be a creator here, Alicia.
No, you should. That's good. I like that. Keep it in.
So if you were to leave our listeners with guidance and advice, just in general about being a better person, about self-improvement, about losing weight, like just investing in you as a person, what would that be?
You hear people say all the time that it doesn't cost anything to be nice. It's free to be nice. And then you hear some jackass on the side saying, well, it doesn't cost anything to be mean either. Well, it can absolutely cost you. It may not cost you money, but it's going to cost you your peace. It might even cost you your job, depending on how awful you're being. It might cost you relationships. It might cost you friendships. It might cost you a lot. So the energy that goes behind being a human being and someone that doesn't care about people is so much more than the energy to be nice and supportive of somebody. And not even just that. If you take that out of the equation and you think about kindness, it's not a weakness. It's a strength.
Yes.
It's an incredible strength, and it's not even just a strength for you. Like when we started our little podcast, you were saying so many nice things, and it was just it took zero energy, $0 to do that, and it made my chest feel warm. It made my chest feel warm. So if you can turn someone's day around and you can know that you've done that, you may not realize it, but when you're extending that additional kindness and love and care to somebody, it does things to you too. It does things to you too. It can alter the way that you think. It can alter the way that you feel, your outlook on life, and it's an improvement of your health. I really think your mental health whenever you extend that kindness to somebody. There's that bug again. I'm learning, like I love being kind to people. I like forming relationships. So I think I need to take my own words and apply it to myself because I'm not kind to myself with my words a lot of the time. I use a lot of humor to cover that. But in those moments, whenever you're having crappy thoughts about yourself, there's some good things behind there too. You're a loud voice of the crap. is just over talking the nice stuff about you. So you'll see a massive difference in your mental health when you apply kindness to your life. You'll see a massive change in your mental health if you're looking at going on a weight loss journey. Even if you start small, like I've lost almost 40 pounds in 3 months. If you lose 10 pounds in 3 months, that's fine. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You don't have to do what Kait's doing, or Simon, my coach, who lost 150 pounds in a year, for sake. If you don't do that, then that's fine too. Just to be kind to yourself. It's one thing to be kind to other people, but being kind to yourself too, and giving yourself grace during those moments. Remember your why. Why did you choose to do it? Why did you choose to lose weight? Why did you choose to be healthier? Why did you choose to be a kinder person or a nicer person? Or why did you choose the path that you're on right now? Because there'll be times that you forget it. And if we speak it into existence, you journal it or talk it to other people, it's easier to come back to whenever you're on the struggle bus. And there's going to be struggle bus times. Prepare for them. They're going to be there. But it's not permanent. It doesn't last.
Amazing. And that is, what you've just summarized is what we classify as the unbreakable legacy. We say it all the time. We've never seen a U-Haul following a hearse before. You're not taking anything with you. So what are you leaving behind?
You've never seen a U-Haul following a hearse before.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not taking anything with you. So what are you leaving behind? And I think we ask our guests that all the time. And what you've just described is what I would classify as an unbreakable legacy. It does not mean that you don't have hard days. It does not mean that you don't have a negative internal dialogue on occasion or even frequently. It just means that you still get up with the best intent to put one foot in front of the other and to be the best person that you can in that moment. And you know what? Some days you can only deliver 75%. Some days you can only deliver 25%. But if that's 100% of what you can give in that moment,
yes,
then you have achieved it. Then you've achieved it.
Yeah, I can't agree with that more. I'm gonna take that. I'm taking that from you.
We're gonna create some stuff for you, give it to you, let you
some
take it and
just
promote that shit. Oh, I've got a lot of them, man. I will tell you what, the book is full of them. I'm going to drop a couple for you right now. Number 1, validation is for parking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
Number 1, I had that printed on stickers once. Number 2, it's a problem you think you need to explain yourself. Number 3, in the absence of fact, perception is reality. Until you show, teach, or give me another reason to believe it, that is what I will always believe.
Those are great. Yeah. When's your book coming out?
We're walking down the self-publishing line right now. We'd submitted it to some publishing houses in June, and those just don't know the gold that's in front of them. So we're going to take it on our own way, and we're going to walk down the path probably of Kindle direct publishing here, and hopefully we will have it out by Christmas is what the hope is.
Really? By Christmas?
Oh, she's done. It was my prep project. I sat and I wrote every single day for hours and hours. Like on the weekends, I would wake up at 4 a.m. thinking about this book. And it's just like, I just can't wait to get it into the hands of people because it's all storytelling and science, right? You're talking about, your brain, and you're talking about how doing things and being kind and being intentionally kind, that's actually hacking your reticular activating system. And what you're doing is you're focusing your brain and all of your brain power on the power of what you want. And so if you wake up and all you think about is how shitty you look and how terrible your job is and how rainy and cold it is, it will take everything out. Your brain will filter everything out that does not align to that, because the reticular activating system only knows that's what you're focusing on. It doesn't know good from bad. And so that mindset mastery is important.
You got one life. You may as well live it to the best of your ability. Be happy.
Yeah, we get one chance of this that we know of.
Say
one life.
One life. You got one.
I beg your pardon?
And it's long.
Well, it is. It can be. I will tell you, there was a woman, there was a woman, she was 117 years old when she died. She was the oldest woman that ever lived. That's a long time to live. My daughter has put her request in for me to stick around till 138. So I'm working on it. I'm like, that's a very specific number. And they actually did DNA testing on her, and they got into her like her genomes were like undeniably younger than her actual existence. And I was like, all right. So it's not bacon and long walks on the beach. Got it.
No, definitely not.
I feel
that reminded
off.
me of a joke. You don't have to put it in the podcast, but you want to hear a joke?
I do.
Okay. So there's this lady, she's pregnant with twins. She goes to the doctor and she says, Doc, when these babies come out, I want them to be as polite as possible. So the doctor's like, okay, bet. Take this medicine, take one a day. And when your kids are born, they're going to be polite. They're going to be polite as fuck. She's like, all right, cool. So she goes home and she's like, I want them to be like extra polite. So she takes like 3 a day. So 9 months come, she's not delivered her babies yet. And then like 20 months comes and she's not delivered her babies yet. They're still inside of her. And then like 5 years passes, and 50 year passes, and she dies, and she still never gives birth to her babies. So the doctor is doing an autopsy on her, and they cut her open, and they see 2 old men in there going, after you, no, after you, after you, no, after you.
Oh my God.
That's it.
You're my people, honestly.
My favorite kind of joke.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Well, with that, Alicia, thank you so much for joining and sharing your vulnerability and your humor and your insights. I think it's powerful, and I'd love for us to keep this conversation going and find ways to continue to collaborate, because I think we could have a lot of fun. And I think sky's the limit here.
We've had a lot of fun. I dig you and Josie. You guys are dope as.
Well, we are
I can't wait for your book to come out. Like I said, I don't like to read books. Even audiobooks are a struggle for me, but I'm going to get your book.
I will make I'll make it really exciting for you.
I'll be in line. Give me a heart.
I love it. It's, how many people have asked me for that? And I'm like, what? You guys, know me personally though.
That's so we have concrete, like, when my kids die, they can sell it for $1 million and buy a spaceship.
This is amazing. I love this.
The Office.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And listeners, protect your peace, chase your dreams, and remember, stay unbreakable.